Hello, everybody. Welcome to the inaugural episode of Sundays with the Sprinkles. I'm your host, Brett Sprinkle, and there's also another Sprinkle here, Tyler Sprinkle. Tyler, hello. How are you? How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. I'm excited
Yeah,
to get in here, talk to you about some football.
yeah. It's week 11. Very on brand for the Sprinkles. We have an ADHD family. Better late than never, though. Started
We're
as soon
here,
as
and
you
that's
can.
all that matters.
That's all that matters. And honestly, this is the better part of the season. First 10 weeks, everyone's figuring things out. The last 7 weeks are really going to tell us who's going to be in the playoffs because at the end of week 18, there's going to be teams in the playoffs. People don't talk about that enough. Um, but yes, your first time here, thanks for coming in and listening. Essentially, it's just going to be me and Tyler talking about football. We have a lot of wild takes. We have a lot of bickering back and forth, but I feel like we land on the same side most of the time. What do you think?
Yes and no. Like when we're on the same page, we're insufferable, but if we're apart, then we're probably the furthest apart that you can be. So it should be an interesting listen.
That's fair, and I don't imagine we're ever going to be far apart ever again, especially during this show. However, let's get into it. Tyler, how do you feel about Week 11? How do you feel about the NFL season so far? What do you think? What are your thoughts? What do you know? What are your takeaways so far?
It's been really surprising. Um, like the Bills kind of stink.
Stink.
The Bengals kind of stink.
They're not that good.
Even in a way, just with how they've been the last few years, the Chiefs quote unquote stink in a way that they haven't in a while. I'm not saying that they're bad, but they just don't look like the same team. Um, Patrick Mahomes, maybe a system quarterback. I don't know. Um, the Patriots dynasty falling to an end. They stink. Um, I mean, a lot of the teams stink, but there are some really good surprises, like the Houston Texans. Um, I mean, I always thought that CJ Stroud was going to be the best quarterback coming out of the draft, and he's certainly all that and then some. Um, Super bummed out that Anthony Richardson got hurt so early because he looked like a really fun quarterback. Um, I mean, I guess that's the good thing about starting in week 11 is we get to recap everything that happened. So we could probably do 3 shows on just the first 10 weeks.
That and I mean, nobody can prove that our takes were wrong because like
That's
I
right.
knew the Texans were going to be second in the division at the start of the season, 5-4. I'm actually glad you brought up the Texans because that's one of the teams I wanted to talk about. They look good, man. They look really good. They look like a well-coached ball club. D'Amico Ryans looks like a really good head coach, and CJ Stroud. I'll be honest and say that I didn't think he was going to be really good right out of the gate. Ohio State quarterbacks have just been historically not that great. But yeah, no, he looks awesome. The way the ball just flies out of his hands. I mean, the quarterback that was taken right before him, Bryce Young, he stinks. He looks not very good right now. And I get it. The roster talent is a little bit different. The Houston Texans have been kind of cultivating talent, bringing in picks, bringing in, young talent for the past few years where the Panthers haven't had that much time. But the difference is almost night and day between the number one and the number two pick. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's clear to see. I think the fact that he can't see over his offensive lineman is an issue.
Some would say that, yeah, it's it's not ideal.
Yeah, like he's short, and there's been quite a few quarterbacks that have been short in the league, but he looks shorter, which I think is an issue. But also trading away your number one wide receiver to get the star quarterback is tough, especially with reports coming out kind of a few weeks ago about them looking for another star wide receiver. Like, well, you had one and you traded him away, so now we're back to square one. It's not great.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. Yeah, I mean, DJ Moore was awesome. You think Jerry Judy's going to fix that problem? And you know me, I'm not the biggest fan of Jerry Judy. We can get into that a little bit later, even down the road. Actually, the most recent game, Broncos Bills. I mean, we're noted Broncos fans. How do you feel about their performance? Because I have some takeaways from that game, and I just want to hear your thoughts before I get into it.
Um, I'm happy, but I'm not. It's very clear to see that this team is very mediocre. And if we keep winning these games, it's just going to be elongated how mediocre we are. Um, like I think we need, like, obviously on Sundays I'm like, let's go Broncos, let's win. But during the week I'm like, this team stinks. I hope they lose. The only game that mattered was the Chiefs game, and we got that Super Bowl. hanging in the banner.
Let's
You
go.
know, now it's like I don't want them to stink, so I want them to lose close and give me some hope, but I want them to lose. I want them to have a good draft pick so we can get these top tier guys. Like, yeah, you can say, oh, well, such and such was drafted in the 6th round or whatever. That's so far in between. You can't really rely on that kind of um, process to build your team up. But I think Sean Payton has made one hell of a difference for sure. Russell Wilson, I don't care what anybody says. I think he still stinks. It's so funny because, like, yeah, his stats this year are really good, but he still does shit that's like, why? Why are you doing that? But it was funny listening to the Monday Night Football crew. They're like, the last thing you do right here is take a sack. 2 seconds. I mean, it's just shit like that that's just like, oh my god, like, what are you
It is.
doing?
It is. It's a lot of like rookie quarterback stuff, and that's the reason why you go get a veteran quarterback. And I don't know if you saw that. It really hurt my feelings a couple weeks ago whenever they lined up Drew Lock stats as a Broncos quarterback and then Russell Wilson stats as a Broncos quarterback, and they're almost identical. Well, the reason why you go get Russell Wilson is because he's a veteran. You know, he's savvy. He knows everything he needs to do. The game's kind of slowed down for him a bit, but it still looks like he'll drop back and then he'll see his first read and then he'll try to scramble away. He'll try to get out
Yeah,
of the pocket, and that happened a couple times on Monday. But I had a separate takeaway. I think the Broncos are actually getting better, and I think it's noticeable because last year we lose that game. Even earlier this year we lose that game. And don't get me wrong, we tried to. I feel like both teams were desperately trying to lose that game, but I felt like the coaching was just a little bit better. I don't understand how we came out after halftime and just had 3 penalties in a row and then a fumble. That doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know what that's all about. But I love the move, and this might be my own head canon, but I have to believe that we saw the scramble at the end of the half for the field goal. Right. So for those who don't know, Will Lutz can't, the Broncos didn't have any timeouts. They caught a play, they caught a ball inbounds. The field goal team had to rush on and scramble. I think there was 11 seconds left. They got it off as time expired, made the kick, going to halftime with 3 extra points. Awesome. At the end of the game, the Broncos tried something similar and they ran on, sprinted on. The Broncos missed the kick because, of course, they did. But the Bills had 12 men on the field. And the Bills said they practiced it all week in practice, and that's not the first time the Broncos have won a game like that in Buffalo. I saw that clip. I didn't even remember that point. I think it was 2007.
2007. Yeah,
Yeah, and yeah, something similar happened. We caught him off guard. People aren't talking enough about the fact that it was Damar Hamlin who might have been the 12th man
I
on the
think that's
field.
what all people are talking about. I
Okay,
mean, there's
well,
videos and some. It's funny, but it's also kind of like, damn, dude, this guy just died last year. Like, give him a break.
wrong kid died.
Yeah,
Uh, Yeah, no, I thought it was awesome to see. It was a great game. Like we battled it out. Our defense looked good, and I know the Bills just aren't clicking right now. And I've been super hard on Josh Allen since the first week. I would like I'm a big Josh Allen believer. I love Josh Allen. I wish the Broncos would have drafted him. But like, what are we doing, dude? Like, there's only so many time, so much time you have that you can stop making these, keep making these mistakes. And I feel like we're well past that. Last year should have been well past that. Like they have a team built to win now, and I think maybe it's time to start talking about Sean McDermott a little bit. But Josh Allen just needs to be better.
he does. But I kind of like that he plays that way because he plays that way knowing damn well that he can make those plays. And if he stops doing that, then he loses that ability to make those plays, I think.
But you don't think at a certain point he's hurting the team, like especially right now?
No, it's certainly hurting the team. I mean, outside of this year, like last year, yeah, he had a ton of picks, but they were still in the thick of it. So it's the picks and then also just not having like a great team around him like he did last year, is what's hindering him.
Yeah, and to your point, I think last year they had a couple injuries on defense. The year before they had a couple injuries on defense. This year they have a lot of injuries on defense, which is really kind of, not helped them out at all. So, maybe that ties back into roster building. There's not enough depth. I don't know what that is. When you lose superstars, it's tough, but even still, you have to figure out a way. It's the NFL, next man up every single week.
Yeah.
The Bills are just so frustrating because I want them to win a Super Bowl so bad. Everyone loves that city. There's not a single person in media or just doing anything that says, "Oh, I hate Buffalo." No, Buffalo's awesome. Great fan base, great atmosphere. Win something for them. That's all I want. That's all I want. I want Josh Allen to be a Super Bowl winner more than anybody. He just fucking stinks right now. It pisses me off.
Yeah, he really does. And it's frustrating too. Like when Stephon Diggs decides to be a big baby, and then even his brother starts chirping. Like, do you think
Saw
that
that.
helps? Like, do you think that that's helping Josh?
Hmm.
Because in my mind, I know it's not. I mean, it might be different for Josh. They might like I know that they're probably having conversations behind closed doors. They're on the same page, I'm sure. But still, when you're out there acting like a giant baby all the time, I'm sure it doesn't help your quarterback when he's going through some shit.
Yeah, because it's like it's one of those things where it's not a distraction, but it makes you think about it, right? So if he gets asked that question in press conferences, he's not distracted by it, but now he has to think about it, come up with an answer. That's just another thing on top of it. So when you make a mistake, you think, "Oh fuck, now I have to come up with an answer for that one." Stephon Diggs is gonna be mad. I get it. I get what you're saying.
It just doesn't feel like something that you would do to a teammate. I don't know. But again, I'm not there in every conversation. I'm not going to sit here and say I know everything that's going on because I obviously don't. But it's just something that I would like to see kind of go away. In that, it would probably help Josh because he's not trying to do this shit. Like he's
No,
not.
you can tell he genuinely feels bad.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. But Stephon is a great wide receiver. He just wants the ball because he knows that he can help them win. So I understand why he's frustrated. I don't know. You could show it in a different way, I think, but whatever. They're
Yeah.
superstar athletes, and I'm not. That's why we're sitting here talking.
I mean, it's all about ego, testosterone. I get it. That's what it's all about. And I don't think Stephon Diggs is just a douchebag. I think that's just like kind of who he is. He's kind of like a very much he's just an honest person, like an honest personality. He's not going to sugarcoat anything. And fuck it, it's just sports. Like you don't really have to be a different person whenever you're talking to the media and being out of the field. Some people are going to be rubbed the wrong way, but that's life. Not everyone's going to like you. So I really don't mind Stephon Diggs, but I do get your point to where, I mean, if you want to be a good teammate, if you just want to be a good friend, even maybe just
Yeah,
dial it down a little bit. Have those conversations behind closed doors, like you said.
yeah.
Switching gears a little bit, I want to talk about some disappointing teams so far this season. I mean, I'm looking at the standings right now. A lot of people. I mean, there's a lot of really good teams. The AFC North, everyone's above 500. Um, but there's one team I wanted to talk about, and I wanted to hear your thoughts. The Tennessee Titans. Will Levis took over the helm. I think they named him the permanent starter for the rest of the season.
As
Still
he
three
should
and
be.
six. I think so. Yeah, he's electric. I think he needs to get every opportunity. He's a lot better than Ryan Tannehill right now. Um, but they're 3 and 6. They didn't trade Derrick Henry. I have to assume that after this season, his trade value goes way down. How do you feel about the Titans moving forward?
Well, I want to start by saying I don't think his trade value is super high, anyways. Um, just because of how they use him. Like there can't be that much gas left in those legs. I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but he's probably carrying the ball like 300 fucking times a year. So
Yeah, I think the numbers are once you hit your 1800th carry, your numbers diminish drastically, and he hit his 1800th carry this season,
yeah.
career wise.
So, and I'm not saying that that makes him a bad running back, but just trade value wise, right? Like you're probably not going to have him for too much longer. Which I hope they do. I mean, I love watching him run the ball. It's really fun to see a giant run the football. It's fun to watch. But yeah, I do think that the move to Will Levis is the best move. Um, I do think that their offensive line really stinks though, so it's hard to do the thing that they're really good at, which is run the ball with Derrick Henry. I mean, you go out and get D Hop, which is a great addition, as you saw in Will Levis' first game, but you need other guys. Like I saw Traylon Burks got hurt, right? I don't know what the severity of that was, but that doesn't help. I mean, and you trade away AJ Brown for the Steph or the AJ Brown light and Traylon Burks, and he doesn't work out. It's just another. It's like a lot of these teams are just making super bad decisions. It seems, but again, I'm not there. I don't know like what the decision making process was on that. But to
No, fuck
trade
that.
him,
Get
but
better.
to trade him to trade up to get Traylon Burks is crazy to me.
See, I am a big Madden player, and I don't know if you know this. I have a franchise going. I mean, you do know this. We played this. I have the Titans in a online franchise. We're playing with one of our really good friends, Davis Weaver, and Traylon Burks is the fucking man. I've never had a wide receiver that I love so much in any video game ever than Traylon Burks. So I'm a big Traylon Burks believer. He just needs somebody to get him the ball. That's my line. He needs somebody to get him the ball. You can't give the ball when you're on the when you're in the ambulance. So once he gets back on the field, he's going to be money. He's going to be set. Especially with
Yeah.
Will Levis. What I love about Will Levis is that ball just fucking rockets out of his hand. It's like a slingshot, just sends it. It's great. And
Yeah.
it just the Titans just become so much more exciting when he's on the field.
And I was a big fan of him coming out of college.
Mayonnaise thing where they got you. It's like fuck yeah, I like this guy. He likes mayonnaise.
Oh no, I do love mayonnaise, but no, that
Yeah,
wasn't
but you
it.
do. You fucking mayonnaise loving son of a bitch.
No, I just think he has like the things that you look for in a quarterback, like the height, the speed, the athleticism, the arm strength. Um, his big knock though is accuracy, but he's shown that he can be accurate with the ball when he's playing, which I think that's the difference. Like sometimes practice, they're like, whatever. Like obviously you're trying to get better, but in the game it really matters. So you're really focused in. So he's looked really good. The team just is subpar, and it's not just the offense; it's the defense as well. Again, team building. Like, come on. I mean, there's got to be something better. And after they got rid of Talon, oh my gosh,
Taylor
um,
Lewan.
yeah. Once they got rid of Taylor Lewan, that
Talon.
that offensive line kind of took a quick nosedive. And that's the same thing with a lot of teams. Like even the Pittsburgh Steelers are the same way. Like I don't think Kenny is that good, but it really shows when he's getting like a second and a half to throw the ball.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big part.
Is there any team that surprises you? I mean, it could be good or bad. I don't really talk too much about this.
I really did not think that the Packers would be that bad. Like I knew that they weren't going to be the Aaron Rodgers Packers. That was very clear to see. But man, they stink.
Yeah, they're
Wow,
not
they
good.
stink.
And I mean, you could talk about Jordan Love's first experience, but no, just top to bottom, they're just not a very good team.
Yeah.
I think I watched that Packers Steelers game. I bet on the Packers thinking, oh, they might steal one here. No, they just never really had it. Like they just kept giving the ball away. They just like they were there, but then you could tell it was the Steelers game to lose. They just had all the momentum. It seemed like.
Yeah, and you see it every week. Like Jordan Love is making great throws. Like he's putting the ball where only his receiver can catch it. And I know they dealt with like a lot of drops early on in the season. With my arch nemesis, I don't even know his first name, number 11, Reed. He's my arch nemesis. Every time I see that guy try to catch a ball, he drops it until I say something, and then he catches a touchdown. So
yeah, I think I know who you're talking about. I was going to pick him up in fantasy, and then I just didn't, and then he caught a touchdown because I saw his stats. It was like 6 points, 3 points, 2 points, and then this week he had like 16.
And then another guy that's on that same team, Christian Watson. My goodness, what a whiff of a first round
Yeah,
pick.
every fucking time. And who would have thought the guy, like the very first pass he goes to catch, he drops it, and everyone's like, "Oh, he'll get it back." It's like, no, he probably never will. It's like that's done.
But Romeo Dobbs, he's really good. I really like what he has to offer.
Aaron Jones also looking a lot better than I expected personally.
Yeah, AJ Dillon never quite developed into the runner that they wanted him to be, but he's a serviceable back for sure. But he's not the number one guy. So if you're running him more than 10 times a game, you're probably not in a good spot.
I'd say that's a good assessment. I actually didn't realize the San Francisco 49ers were 6-3. I know they went on that losing streak, but I just the way people were talking about them, I thought they were like 4-5. So I think that's funny. You want to get in to talk about this week's slate of games? I think we have a good week set up for us.
Yeah, let's do it. I haven't actually even looked at who's playing who yet.
Well, hey, let's go through it right now together, brother. I mean, first things first, the Thursday night game. Now, we haven't decided when we're going to release this podcast. It'll probably come out after the Thursday football game. But we have Bengals at Ravens. The spread is Baltimore's favored by 3.5. What do you think about this game? Actually, you haven't looked at it. I have some stuff. How about you collect your thoughts and I can give you something. How about that?
Okay.
All right, so I got some stats here. This is one of my favorites. Since drafting him in 2018, the Ravens are 7-1 against the Bengals when Lamar Jackson has started, and 0-3 without him. Now we know they'll have Lamar Jackson. However, on the reverse side, The past 5 games we're talking about this season, the games involving the Bengals are averaging 754 combined yards per game. That's the second most in the NFL right now. That's a lot of fucking yards. I know that's both
Yeah,
teams, but still, you would rarely see teams get over 300 yards a game in the NFL.
and that's crazy to me because I think that the Bengals have a pretty solid defense. Obviously, they had the Husker on the edge, Cam Taylor-Britt. Love that. He had a pick six last week, I think. Yeah, no,
Hey, is he a Husker? Got a pick six. That's what we call it.
yeah, and I like their edge rushers. I think they're really like tenacious. They have a motor that doesn't quit. Using some buzzwords. Um, but this is a
Real gym
must
rat.
win. Yeah, yeah. This is a must win for the Bengals, and I don't see them winning it. So I traded for Lamar Jackson this season. Before I traded for him, he was incredible. Since having him, he has stunk. So that gives me some worry about this game. But it's prime time. It's in Baltimore. They're probably going all black, which I would assume because that's the
Yeah,
best
those black
uniform.
unis are tough.
I'm going Ravens by a touchdown.
Okay. And actually, how do you want to pick games? You want to do it with the spread, or you just want to pick them straight up?
Yeah, let's go with the spread.
Okay. So I agree with everything you just said. If the Ravens had beaten the Browns, I would be all over the Bengals. Just because, and actually, I'm going to bring this up right now, and I'm going to keep bringing it up over the course of this podcast. I believe in the NFL, water finds its level. I think 50% of the teams are either going to finish within the 7-win to 10-win range, and then the 25% on either side are going to finish above that or below that. I think every team's about average, about 500 normally. So that being said, that's how I base a lot of my picks off of. Is like, what did this team win last week? How good do they look? How hungry is the other team? Because we both know hungry dog runs faster. So that's a long way of saying I'm definitely going to take the Ravens too at home on Thursday. After I didn't even realize the Browns won that game because it was just so shocking. Because I felt like the Ravens had that in the bag the entire time. They're going to be pissed off. They're going to be upset. And I do think the Ravens are the best team in the league right now. They just look elite. Whenever they want to shit down your throat, they shit down your throat. Look at the Seahawks. Look at the Lions. I think they're going to come out firing. There's something amiss with the Bengals offense. I don't know if it's Joe. I don't know if it's the offensive line. I don't know if it's just the receivers. I mean, that drop by Tyler Boyd, that's egregious. I mean, that lost them the game. That sucks. Also lost me a parlay, but that's besides the point. Yeah, just the Ravens just look like a more complete. They really do look like the most complete team in the NFL right now. So that's my pick.
Yeah, and their defense is great. But yeah, back to what I was saying earlier. I mean, it starts and ends with the defense and offensive line. So having one of those, even I guess you can get by with a serviceable offensive line, but having a bad offensive line makes everything a lot worse.
No, absolutely. All right, moving on to the next game. The first one we have on Sunday is going to be Cowboys at Panther. The spread in that one is the Cowboys are favored by 10.5. 10.5 on the road is tough. I made the mistake of betting on the Giants last week at 17.5. I was thinking, you know what? There's no way an NFL team is going to lose 49 or what was the final score? 49 to 12, 49 to 10.
Yeah, something bad.
I think it's going to happen again this week. I think the Cowboys are going to go in and shit down the Panthers' throat. So yeah, give me the Cowboys with the points, easy.
I agree, but I don't think it's going to be that bad. I think it's going to kind of come down to the wire where the Cowboys cover late.
Okay, like a little witching hour type action.
Yeah,
I like that.
like they're gonna be controlling the game the whole time. Like it's never going to be in question. But I think the Cowboys covered late.
Okay. All right, next we have Steelers Browns. Browns are at home, favored by 4.
Give me the Steelers.
The Steelers?
I have them. I have the Browns by 1. So it's basically a pick 'em.
Yeah, in your spreadsheet, in your algorithm, you got the Browns by 1.
No, that's just what it says here.
Oh, wait, where did you get that? I have it on
FanDuel.
FanDuel. Really? I have 4.
Yeah.
Something must change. Oh, that you know what it was? It was when I was out. They just named Dorian Thompson Robinson as their starting quarterback instead of PJ Walker. That's probably why the number came down so much. That's
Yeah.
hilarious. What is that all about? I mean, I have been saying it to you for the past couple of weeks. I think PJ Walker is the best quarterback on that roster. Deshaun Watson fucking stinks. And I'm happy that he had the excuse of getting surgery so he didn't have to fucking play out the rest of the season. But I thought PJ Walker is a very good quarterback, especially when you realize he hasn't lost at home yet. So I don't know what that's all about.
But he's old.
He's not that old. How old is
He's
he?
older than DTR.
Yeah, but DTR fucking sucks.
He had
Have you
one
seen him
game.
play? Did you
Give
see
him a
that first
chance.
game you played?
Yeah, give him a
Um,
chance.
wait, why do I have to give him a chance? They already gave him a chance. He wasn't good. He was one of those guys. He was basically supposed to be an Anthony Richardson type, but Anthony Richardson is Anthony Richardson, so that's the guy everyone drafted. Dorian Thompson Robinson is supposed to sit around for at least 6 or 7 years before he's even good. And PJ Walker's 28 years old. I will not hear this. He's too old.
I mean, he's older than DTR.
I think him and Deshaun Watson are the same age. So I don't know why you want. So you're telling me with your elite defense, which I believe is one of the best defenses in the NFL, barring the Ravens that I just said, the Browns are one of the best defenses in the NFL. Why would you want the young, unproven guy who's just going to go in there and probably throw picks as opposed to PJ Walker, who hasn't lost a home start in his career?
Well, based off of what Kevin Stefanski said about what should fans be expecting, and he said the fans should start drinking a lot.
Oh no.
This decision is probably out of his hands, and they're going with the young guy that they drafted, that they don't have to pay a lot to potentially develop into a backup and keep him on the roster cheap.
Fair enough. All right, let's go rapid fire through these few next games because there's one game in particular I want to talk about. Bears Lions. Lions favored by 10. Give me Lions money line, but Bears with the points. I think the Bears make it close.
I think the Bears win this game.
Ooh, do tell. Now we have to spend some time on this now.
Justin Fields back.
Okay, revenge game.
He's looked good in spurts this year. I think the time off is going to do him well. Granted, he's coming off an injury, but I don't think it was that serious. And the Bears kind of have something to prove.
Yeah.
Bears, yeah. And it's a rivalry, or not right. I guess in a sense it's a rivalry game just because it's a division game, but I think I like the Bears here.
Well, also, to your point, the Lions kind of got beat up in LA, which is why I think the Bears will cover. Because that was just a really, really good game in LA, the Lions and the Chargers. Just back and forth, a lot of offense, really explosive. Do you see that stat that the Chargers have played in over 100 one-score games in the past 10 years?
Yeah, and what, they lose like all of them?
Yeah, pretty much. Being Broncos fans, we've been through a lot of those Chargers games, and yeah, they find new and exciting ways to lose every single week, and it's so fun to see. It doesn't matter who their coach is, who their quarterback is. It honestly might as well still be Anthony Lynn and Phillip Rivers out there.
The best Chargers.
Yeah, that, in my opinion, for sure. All right, next game: Raiders at Dolphins. Dolphins favored by 12. That's a lot. That's a lot of points.
I have 13.5.
Okay.
And I would take Miami by 20.
Ooh. Even with Antonio Pierce as the head coach of the new Raiders? These are the new Raiders, Tyler.
Do you know how many cigars they've smoked in the past week? 2. Lung damage. They're not going to be able to run.
Ooh. And it's going to be kind of humid. Those lungs are going to be kind of cloudy. I got you. No, actually, I love that pick.
And they're not going to let them smoke cigars in their locker room.
Mm-hmm. All right, yeah, you talked me into it. Yeah, give me Dolphins with the points. So, it's why are we even going to win? Because we can't even smoke cigars. We'll win when we can smoke cigars type thing. Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
Okay, I like that take. All right, next we have Giants at Commanders. Commanders favored by 10. At least that's what I have.
8.5.
8.5? Well, give me the Giants at 10, but give me the Commanders at 8.5.
Give me the Commanders at either.
Okay. Sam Howell's awesome.
I think they're a great team.
Yeah.
Not a great team. I think they're like a really, really solid team. That's built to win these games by a lot.
The Commanders, every time I watch them, they feel like a team who, I don't think this is a secret to anybody, but they feel like a team who is already looking forward to next year because the way people talk about the Commanders is, Ron Rivera, he's already fired. He's already done. There's no reason to like keep this, charade going up any further. And I mean, we don't know who the next coach is going to be. I would
The
think it would
enemy.
be the enemy. That would be my
Yeah.
guess. Especially with the new ownership. It's like all Commanders fans are really just looking forward to this offseason. I think the Commanders are going to have the most exciting offseason because, the possibility of the name change, which I have to assume there's a lot that goes into that. I can't believe it, it'll happen in one offseason, but hey, I'm not the billion-dollar owner who just bought them. Yeah, but no, they seem like a really exciting team. I love their offense so far.
Yeah, Sam Howell is the guy. And I liked him coming out of college too. I was really hoping that the Broncos would take him. Obviously, he went to the Commanders, and he's showing why. He's at least right now, like top of the back end of the good quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm. All right, Buccaneers, Niners. I got the Niners easy.
Yeah, I mean that's not even a question.
Yeah. All right, let me talk to you about this game. Chargers at Packers. We've already seen Green Bay beat up one Los Angeles team at home. It's going to be even colder. The Chargers fucking stink. Give me the Packers. Oh, and Packers are underdogs by 3 points. So this is my home dog pick of the week. Arrgh! There you go.
Interesting.
Yeah, I like that.
Um,
I like that a lot.
give me the under and the Chargers by 3.
Why do you think that?
So they're a West Coast team coming to play in the cold. They're not going to be as explosive. The Packers fucking stink, as we were talking about earlier.
Packers do stink. Not a good football team.
So it's going to go under, I think. Under 43.5 is what I have. And I think Jordan Love is going to make a mistake. They're going to win by 3.
Okay. I don't hate what you're saying, but there's something about Lambeau in the cold, and there's something about the Los Angeles Chargers just not being very good normally. And I think if it's a close game, I think it's one the Packers win, personally. But I do hear what you're saying. If the Chargers want to stay in playoff contention, they need this game. Hold on, let me look at their record real fast. I think they're what, 6?
They're 4-5.
4-5, like a bunch of bitches. Yeah, no, you're right. They do need this game. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out, but I do like the Packers in that one. Cardinals at Texans. I kind of like the Cardinals here in kind of a sneaky spot. I feel like last week was an emotional win. What do you think?
All year I've been on the Texans. I've been picking them. Then 2 weeks ago, I had them by 3. Instead of kicking the field goal or the extra point, they need the ball.
Didn't have a kicker though. Didn't have a kicker though.
Don't care. Fuck the Texans. Give me the Cardinals. Give me midget Kyler Murray running around the field all day.
Yeah, he looked as much fun as we like to make fun of Kyler Murray. He looked really good. Like that team just looks like a completely different team with him on the field.
Which I don't know. I don't really know what they're trying to do this year. Because you don't want to win. Yeah, you don't want to win. At least you wouldn't think so.
But. So they have a lot of picks stocked up. I think they have 2 first rounders. They have a few second rounders and 2 third rounders. So doesn't matter. Like they're going to have the picks. So I don't think they're too worried about that. But I mean, if Kyler plays well, what do you do? You know what I mean? Like, do you go get a quarterback? Do you keep him?
I think it'll be like a situation last year, like the Bears trading the first overall pick. I'm sure it'll be that same thing.
Yeah.
Depending on how Kyler plays. But
I mean, we've seen Kyler show spurts and then he just disappears completely. Like, do you want him to be good in the regular season, fall off in the playoffs? I just don't know if he's consistent enough to be the guy that's worth all the headaches that he seems to bring them. According to
I think the quote unquote headaches are overblown.
I agree with that. Actually, I don't think it's a bad assessment.
And they just paid him. And you don't want to keep starting over with new quarterbacks. So I think you just stick with Kyler. I mean, that's what I would do. I mean, again, it depends on how he plays out the rest of this year. If he stays healthy and if he performs well, I think you just go with Kyler.
Who's that coach? Is it Gannon?
Yeah.
From Philadelphia?
Yeah.
God, he's such a goofball.
Yes, he is.
But, he's got the team playing hard, at least in spurts. I mean, they beat the Cowboys. I mean, I've heard it talked about before, but like, yeah, they really like bought their lottery ticket with that one win for the Cowboys because they haven't really
Yeah.
been talked badly about the past few months. Next game we have. Did we already do Buccaneers at Niners?
Yeah.
All right. Seattle Seahawks at Los Angeles Rams. It's a toss-up. At least that's what I have.
It's a 1-point favorite to the Seahawks on the road.
Oh, Seahawks are favored. I have them as the 1-point underdog here. Either way,
Yeah. I do like the Seahawks here. I'd be kind of wary of this game. I don't think I would bet on this game because Matthew Stafford's coming back. So the Puka Nacua and Cooper Cup show is back on.
the Koopa Nakua.
Yeah. But I like the Seahawks here, but I wouldn't touch this game.
So this goes back to my water finds its level theory in the NFL. I think the Seahawks are one of those average teams, and I think the Rams are one of those bad teams. So give me the Seahawks to pull this one out on the road. Divisional games are always tough in the NFL because you gear your roster towards beating divisional teams, and that's kind of the most important because you're playing 6 games against those guys. If you come out 5-1, then you're set. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just got to win some of the other, quote unquote, non-conference games as they would call it in college football. So give me the Seahawks here. Geno, I think he's the guy we always knew he was. I don't think he's going to be I don't think he's the next Russell Wilson, but I think he's serviceable. And as long as they keep giving the ball to Kenneth Walker, fucking please give him the ball. I need the fantasy points. We're good. We're chilling.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Vikings at Broncos. Broncos are favored by 2. Thoughts?
The alopecia assassin's going to walk into Denver and get a W.
Think so?
Yeah.
I think it might be kind of cold for him, with no hair and everything. Trust me, he's from a guy who's vertically challenged when it comes to the hair department. It's not great. Cold isn't good.
He'll be layered up. They have a lot of tech.
And are we sure they even like him in Minnesota?
Yeah.
Because I saw a clip of him last week. He didn't even know where nobody showed him where the locker room was. He had to ask, stadium attendants. When you bring in a new guy, you think you're getting the entire orientation. You're telling him where to go. Hey, here you go. They didn't even introduce everybody on the team. He had to introduce himself last week. I don't know, man. I don't know.
That matters.
Going on over
that
there.
Just means that they're focused on ball. They're not focused on one player.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the most important player. If he keeps listening to Creed the way he does and just taking over Kirk Cousins' mantle, I don't think that there's anything that can stop that team. So it's scary. It's the Broncos versus Creed essentially, and I don't think that's a battle the Broncos can win.
No.
However, I really like the Broncos right now. I think they are playing better, and I think as long as we play within ourselves, we just need to start feeding Javonte Williams the ball more. I think he got the most carries he's gotten all season last week, and they kind of stuffed him.
It just makes me nervous because he just gets hit so hard.
Yeah, because he's huge. He's like a running tree. That guy.
He gets hit so hard.
I mean, it's better than McLaughlin getting hit hard.
I know. It just worries me.
Speaking of, how do you feel about McLaughlin?
I like him a lot.
He's an electric factory. He's got short bursts. I just don't know if he could throw. I think he's a good 5 to 8 touch guy. I don't know if getting him 15 to 20 is ideal for his skill set.
So he's not the up the middle guy like Philip Lindsay was. He's definitely the outside guy.
But as a receiving option, he seems kind of shifty. But Samaje P. Ryan might be one of the better receiving backs that we have on the team. So it's just tough to find out where he's going to play. McLaughlin's going to play.
Yeah. Then you just got to give him more time to develop and stuff.
When does Justin Jefferson come back? Do you know?
I don't think it's this week. I think it could actually be this week because he's off IR.
Okay, so it could be, but they haven't activated him yet?
Yeah.
I'll look it up right now. Oh, that's not it. Jeez. Unlikely to play in week 11. So, hey, that was Justin Jefferson. Yeah, no, I like the Broncos. I think Patrick Surtain's finally being good, finally getting he's finally playing up to the reputation that he gets for some reason. I don't hate Justin Simmons as much as I used to. Picks in the past few games help to definitely help that out a little bit. But yeah, I think the Broncos are on a good track moving forward. I like the way the team looks. I don't think we're going to make the playoffs. I don't think we're going to go on a crazy run, but I think 4 in a row would be a really fun, middle of the season kind of win streak for us.
Yeah, I agree. It would be fun, and I want that to happen. But again, as I said earlier, I also just want them to lose. So
I mean, I do keep seeing those edits, and Drake May looks really fucking good in Broncos, Denver orange. Like he really
Yeah,
does.
yeah. He looks like he's born to be there.
All right, so actually, say we have the 4th pick overall. Caleb Williams is gone number 1. Um, okay, fuck it. No, say we have the 2nd pick overall. Caleb Williams is gone number 1. Which quarterback do you want out of the bunch? If it's Drake May, give me another quarterback that you might want there. Nobody else. Always Drake.
No.
Okay, so we have 3: Drake May and Caleb Williams are off the clock or off the board. Who do you want? Is it Penix?
Oh no, he's too old. In a sense, to be a rookie quarterback drafted that high.
If that's the case, Bo Nix is there too.
Yeah.
And I saw Ewers isn't coming out either, which I don't really want him anyway. I don't think he's gonna be that good.
Like if we drafted JJ McCarthy, I might jump off a bridge.
JJ McCarthy just sounds like an Iowa quarterback name. So the fact he plays for Michigan breaks my brain.
I really don't know. Like with the 3rd pick, I wouldn't feel comfortable drafting really anybody there. Like I would rather have like an offensive lineman, which that's probably too high for any of them. But Brock Bowers would be awesome.
Tight end, right, from Georgia?
Yeah, and I think that's the exact guy that Sean Payton wants.
Interesting. So he's losing enough games on purpose to be positioned perfectly for Brock Bowers, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Yep.
He's orchestrating this entire thing. I mean, it's not a bad theory. I wouldn't make it personally, but no, I like it.
I also just want it to be known, I probably am overlooking somebody that's an amazing quarterback coming out.
No, Corey, hey, you heard it here first, folks. Everyone stinks besides the top 2.
Yeah.
Busts all around.
I wouldn't even say that, but I would.
Everybody busting up in here.
Back into the first round, I wouldn't be mad at taking like Bo Nix or Michael Penix, but that early, I wouldn't take him.
That's okay. It's not your fault. I'm asking you the wrong question. I assumed that I knew your answer on this, but I don't think the podcast does. Caleb Williams or Drake May is the question I should have asked.
I think it's Drake May for me.
Yeah?
I think so. For no real reason other than...
I think... Go ahead, I'm sorry.
For no real reason other than the eye test. I think that Caleb Williams is going to be very successful in the NFL. And I think the shit that he's saying about wanting ownership of a team is kind of a way to drop his draft stock a little bit so he doesn't go to like the Bears or somebody. I think Drake May, I think.
So I will say that for your assessment, I think Caleb Williams, he seemingly, I don't even know if this is 100% true. He plays in LA. It's a bigger market than, North Carolina. He seems to have a lot of baggage coming with him. And you mentioned he has his parents who have been like regimenting every single part of his day since he was 16, basically putting him in this position to be the number 1 pick. You have the news story that came out that he wants equity. I think that's like literally illegal. I don't think he could do that as far as like the bylaws in the NFL.
Correct.
So yeah, it just seems like there's a lot coming with it. There's a lot of hype too, and whenever that happens, that's just a recipe for disaster. We've obviously seen it work before, and we don't talk about it when it works. We talk about when it fails. And yeah, Drake May just does seem like the quarterback. Like he has all. If you build a quarterback in Madden, that's kind of the guy you want. You want him tall. You want him a little bit quick. You want him athletic, but you want him to have a big arm. Caleb Williams has all those things. Just the only difference is, like I said, the baggage that comes with that. So I'm really curious to see how that plays out, especially whenever we get closer to combine season, pro day season, and all the interviews, pre-draft interviews. See how that plays out. I know we're running short on time. Last game, Chiefs Eagles. Who do you got?
Give me the Eagles. Go Birds.
So some are saying this is the game that Taylor Swift is gearing up for. This is why she's been dating him all that time. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a breakup before the game. Seeing her in the Kelsey box, but dating the other Kelsey brother this time is a little mental warfare. What do you think?
Well, her whole family's flying to Kansas City for the game, so.
Okay.
To finally meet their parents.
Like the Swift family?
Yeah.
That's so lame. It's like, bro, couldn't you just go out to dinner?
No.
You got to do it on primetime television.
They got to get all the
guys they can. It's like, hey, not only do I have a fucking tour that's in theaters and on a worldwide leg right now, I need all the fucking eyeballs on me.
Yeah, she's flying from Brazil, I think, to go to the game.
That's crazy. I mean, it's going to be a good game. I would honestly, if I had the means, I would do the same thing, but I
Yeah.
don't think she's doing it for the same reason that I would.
No.
Well, there you have it. There's all our games. I'm sure Brandon could figure out who we picked and all that and put it
Yeah.
up on a board at some point. Let's start to trickle out of here. But I'm curious, like Tyler, what in the world's pissing you off about the NFL this season?
I'm not going down that road.
Oh yeah,
Not on the first episode.
okay. Well, can I tell you something that's pissing me off? There's
Yeah.
two things. Josh Allen being shitty really fucking pisses me off. It's making me so mad that I have to shit on him because I really want to root for him. The second thing in a row, Tyler, when did you meet Sophia? 2016? Started dating her in
Yeah.
2016? And you guys got married 3 weeks ago, I believe? 4 weeks
A
ago?
month and a day.
Yeah. Yeah, a little over a month ago. So in that time, since 2016, the Broncos have gone. I'll read this off for you really fast. It should be quick. So since 2016, the Broncos went 9-7, 5-11, 6-10, 7-9, 5-11, 7-10, 5-12. Some would say that's not a single winning record since 2016, is what the stats are saying.
Correct.
However, you guys get married how long ago?
A month and a day ago. Yeah.
A month and a day ago, and the Broncos are 3-0 since then. So some are saying, people in the media are asking, are you selfish for not just proposing right away and just getting it over with?
That's something I'll have to live with for my whole life, I suppose.
Because in that time, you gave us Brock Osweiler, Paxton Lynch, Drew Lock, and Russell Wilson. You gave us all of those guys.
I love Drew Lock. That's my boy.
I think he should still be our quarterback. Imagine we still had him and all our draft picks with Sean Payton. It'd be crazy. But yeah, so it's kind of on you a little bit. Vic Fangio got fired for no reason, essentially.
I think there was some reason there, but I see what you're saying.
I think Vic Fangio was kind of unfairly fired.
Just nobody liked him.
I mean, you don't gotta like him. You just gotta play for him. You know, he's like Bo Pelini. Him and like Vic Fangio's career in the NFL and Bo Pelini's career in Nebraska are similar. That's me not knowing anything or without having any facts to back that up. I just thought it and I said it out loud just now, but it sounds true, and that's what I'm gonna go with.
I think you're wrong because Bo Pelini could actually win games. Vic Fangio.
That's true. Well, Vic Fangio is very, very good at going 500.
Yeah,
or at least as close to it as humanly possible. I agree with that. I'm going to save the touchdown parlay for next week because I just literally have not looked at the betting boards. Honestly, you know what? Give me a Thursday touchdown parlay. Give me Joe Mixon. Give me Tyler Boyd. Give me Mark Andrews. That's your touchdown parlay. That's 3 legs. Should be plus 600, plus 900, whatever. Go ahead and take it. You're going to lose, but I'm going to win. That doesn't make any sense.
No.
Tyler, thoughts, predictions, comments, concerns as we end the show here for next week?
Go Broncos, but also lose? Question mark.
Broncos, but also lose? Question mark. Well, that's a very inspired thing to say. I'm gonna go out a little more positive. I think we're gonna have a great week of football. I'm actually really excited for the games this week. I mean, the games last week is kind of a dud slate, but it turned into a really good week of football because you had all those like really weird teams battling against each other, like Packers Steelers. It was a sloppy game, but it ended up being a pretty good game at the end. And I think we're going to get a lot more of those matchups, especially with a lot more playoff implications, a la Chiefs Eagles. I think it's going to be a really really fun week. I'd be excited to see the Bills bounce back, but I want the Jets to sneak one. I don't know. The Jets are kind of frisky enough to where they might sneak one in Buffalo, especially with a lot of turmoil there. Because I just don't think the Bills are that team who are like, oh no, they're pissed off, they're going to go out and win. We've been saying that for 5 weeks, and they really haven't been there yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean it's got to break sometime though.
Yeah, true. They're still a talented team. Josh Allen's still a talented quarterback. Something's wrong there. I don't know what it is. But that is our podcast, the inaugural podcast of Sundays with the Sprinkles. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to try to do this weekly. Like I said, I think we're recording on Wednesday. When do you want to drop? Thursday, Friday? What is your ideal drop date?
Probably Fridays.
Friday mornings. Let people go into the weekend with something. I like that.
Yeah.
Look for us on socials. I believe we're going to be on the Cornhusker Connection socials for the time being until we start carving out our own social media network. But thank you all for joining. If you are joining, if not, then well, we'll see you later.
Yep.
Thank you guys.